Hello everyone. Let me know in the comment section below. So how has been your day? How much you are excited about learning? So let me know in the comments below. And we'll be starting the live in a few minutes. So just waiting for some more folks. Yeah, so some of you mentioned that the screen was literally inverted. So sorry for that. I exit it now. So let's the for today's we'll begin by seeing how we can create an app in Flutter. After that, we'll be looking on how stateless and stateful widgets are there and how they work. And after that, we'll be working on some more things like creating the basic dice app from scratch. So let's get started with the first thing, which is creating the app in Flutter. So whenever you are using VS Code for creating an app, so what you can do is you can use a keyboard shortcut, which is Control Shift P. So when you will be clicking on it, you will have an option on the top which which provides you an option to create a new application or project in Flutter. So when you will be clicking that, it will be asking you for a name. So you can select the folder here where you want to store your projects. So I generally store projects in D drive in VS Code. So in the Flutter project folder, select folder, and then I can provide a name. So you have to name your application in a way such that all the letters are small, and for the spaces you can use underscores. And one more thing, that this is the name which generally appears on the application screen. Later you can change it through the code base, but it generally appears on screen. So I'll name it 1123. It will be taking some time to create the application for me. For Android Studio users, so for those of you folks who are using Android Studio, when you will be opening Android Studio and you have installed all the things like Flutter plugin, the Dart plugin, and Flutter is correctly installed and the path is set, so you'll be seeing Flutter project of when you clicking it, it will be taking you mostly similar process. And after this process, you can name your application, you can provide your package name or the app name which you want to be displayed when the app will be deployed on what we can say Play Store or an App Store. So this is the basic process of creating your app. So it is taking some time to create as many things are running in the background. So let's wait for a while till it creates your app. Till then, let me know or ask. You can also ask your doubts if you have some, or you can let me know like if you have installed Flutter or not, and if there are any issues which you are facing while you are installing Flutter. So you can see at last it has run Flutter pubget, which is generally running, or we run this command to fetch all the packages and the dependencies which are required for the Flutter project run. So it run that command, and after that here it is showing that it is still running, but at last here it shows that everything is done. And now let us see what all things are here in the project directory. So we'll be covering more about the directories and what are the different project directory structures available. So we'll be covering that in the tomorrow stream. But for today, I'll giving you a basic outlay of what all things are available. So basically, you have these two directories, which is .dartful and .idea. So we generally don't interact with these two directories. Next, we have an Android directory which contains all the files related to the Android part of your application. And after which we are having an iOS directory. And here we are using, we are provided with the iOS section of our application. And at last, we are having a lib directory which creates all the Dart files or the project files which we are using or which we are creating for our projects, and we are coding it our Dart language or the Flutter language in that. Next, we have some more folders for writing the test screen, the test which we generally use when we are fetching the data from API or when we are working with Firebase. So testing all the things before deploying the final application. And these are some more things which we'll be covering later on. So this is basic main.dart file. Just a sec, let me check the comments. I guess the stream quality must be 720p. If it is not so, please comment it down below. So I'll check once again. The camera quality might be a bit low, but the stream quality will be around 720p if I'm not wrong. Just a sec, I'll check. Let me zoom it a bit. I guess now it must be a bit clear. For me, when I'm checking it in other phone, it is showing like the device audio and the video is showing around 720p. So it is working around, I guess, clearly for me. If someone can confirm this, then it will be good and we can move forward with our session. I guess it is better than previous thing. So let's move forward. So this is basically the main.dart file for our project. So the app or the run app function which we are using in the for coding our application. So the main function which is generally used when we are running the application is this run app function. And when we are clicking on this run button or when we are clicking on the Flutter Run command, this is the first thing which is called for running our app. In this, we specify a class or a function which is generally called, which contains all the elements related to our screen. So this can be a container or a circular progress indicator and so on. And we generally have a material app widget inside it, which is returned. And in this, we have a home. So home is the screen which is displayed when we are clicking on the app when we are opening the app. So this is the first screen which is generally visible. For this app, it is my home page. So let me walk you through all the components which are present in this my home page. So my home page is basically a stateful widget. So I'll be covering what stateful and stateless widgets are in a bit later. Basically, this is a stateful widget. So everything in this can be updated through setState function, which is here. And in this stateful function named my home page, we are having another function inside it, which is named as underscore increment counter, which will be incrementing our counter variable by 1 whenever we'll be clicking on the floating action button, which will be provided to us on the screen. So let me run this app and see how it looks. So it generally takes a bit of time when you are having multiple different things which are running in the background. So here you can see that it says launching. So let's wait for a while. Till then we can see what stateful and stateless widget are and how render tree and other things work in Flutter. So let me switch that screen. Yeah, so let us see what stateless and stateful widgets are there. So basically, a stateless widget can also be called or termed as a dataless widget, whereas a stateful widget can be called as a dataful widget. So why these widgets are called by the name dataless and dataful? So stateless widgets generally don't have much data to be interacted with or to which could be interchanged or which could be displayed on the screen. So they don't have much data initially. Whereas stateful widgets generally contain various different variables and data which a user interacts with and which is changed during the app is running. Next thing is that in stateless widgets, we generally have immutable state. So all those things which are specified in a stateless widget once cannot be changed again throughout the app or throughout the state of the app. Whereas in stateful widget, the things are mutable and they can be changed throughout the app by running the set state function or by using a stream builder. So you don't need to worry by these complex jargons. I'll be telling you all these things in the upcoming session. In the stateless widget, generally we cannot redraw a widget, but in stateful widgets, a complete widget tree or a complete widget can be redrawn. In stateless widgets, we generally do not reset the state of the app, whereas in stateful widget, we can draw the state of the app again. Now let's see how rendering in Flutter works. So you can see here, this is a basic app or a basic function which will be just printing a hello world or displaying hello world text on the screen. So basically we have a center widget which is used for centering the text or centering any of the child widget on the screen. Next we have a rich text for displaying the text, and as a text for it we are providing hello world. So when we are running this after putting the code inside our main.dart file, this main function will be run, and after that run app will be displaying all these things according to the widget tree on the screen. The thing which happen is, firstly, as the center is the top widget, so firstly it will be taking place and then it will be displaying the rich text inside it. So this is basically a widget tree which takes place whenever rendering in Flutter is there. But you must be thinking how rendering will be working. So yeah. So now you can consider take this basic example which displays a hello world text in the center of the screen. When we'll be running this, it will be making a container, then displaying a center inside it, and then the text will be displayed inside rich text. Now, when we are trying to change this, for example, if we are trying to change this in place of hello world, I am typing something else. So what it will take place is it will be redrawing all the widget tree. So the main widget which is changing, the text pane widget, it will be changing, and rest other widgets like the center widget will be remaining same, the rich text widget will be remaining same, but the text pane widget will be changing. Many people say that in Flutter everything is a widget, but is it true or not? So let's see. The truth is that Flutter generally has three trees which are there when we are running or when we are displaying our app. So the first one is the widget tree, which is created through all the widgets which are available or for which we have done the coding. Next is the element tree, which contains all the elements. So there are particular elements for each of the widgets which we are creating. And the third one is the render object tree. So this is the basic tree which is used for displaying all the elements to a particular user or to the end user. Now, as I was telling you that, for example, if we are having a rich text and in that we are displayed this hello world text, so it will be taking place here. But what if we are changing this text to something else? So these are all the trees which will be displaying when we are running this. But what when we are changing the text from hello world to hello Shanghai, the widget tree will be changing as the center or the childmost element has been changed. The element tree will be remaining same, as we haven't changed the rich text, or we haven't used any other widget except the ones which were used prior to this. And the render object element will be changed as the text inside the childmost widget has been changed. So it will be updating that as well. Now, you must have seen or you must have heard that Flutter saves a lot of time when we are trying to implement some new features to our app which we have already coded. So this is basically with the help of hot reload and hot start. So let me tell you what was the case before. So when prior to this Flutter releasing, what the native Android users had to do is they are implementing or adding some new feature and they have to rebuild the whole application again. But Flutter has provided with you an option where you are changing some part of the app and then you can hot reload or hot restart your app, and it will be implementing or showing you all the changes which are done in very less time, and you don't need to build the complete app again and again. So there is also difference between hot reload and hot restart. So what is it? In hot reload, it generally takes less time, whereas in hot restart, it takes comparatively more time. In hot reload, the state remains same, and in hot start, the state is destroyed and rebuilt. So we'll be seeing both of these when we are working on the apps in future. Now, let me see if the app has started running or not. So it is still running. So we'll wait for some more minutes so that it can start running. So you must be thinking that why it is taking so much time. So there are various different things which are running on my device currently. So it is OBS and other things like the cam input. So if you guys are okay with no cam input, so I can save some resources and then I guess it will be running further. So let me know if you guys are okay with no cam input. Cool, I'll turn off the cam then. अच्छा हाँ Yeah, so some of you are saying that I have to teach you guys from the basics, so you don't need to worry. These are only the things which you should know before you are starting with Flutter. So you don't need to worry. I'll be teaching about all these widgets in the upcoming session. So I'll be covering all of them a bit later. But yeah, surely these all will be covered. So now as I told you that when you are making the basic or the first Flutter now my voice would be a bit clear as I have changed my microphone also. Yeah, so as I told you that when we are running the app, first thing which generally takes place is this main function is run, and after that this run app function is run inside it, and it will be displaying the my app screen. So what my app is has is a material app, and it generally has the title which we want to provide for the Flutter app. Next, it has a theme. So the basic theme which we want to provide, basically from theme you can consider is that this color or this adaptability from the density, so it has to adapt through the density of the screen. So if a screen is more dense for the phones which are costlier, so they generally have a high density screen so that they increase the frame rates or adapt to the frame rate. So this is basically for adapting to the density of the screen. Next we have the home, which is for the home page of the Flutter app. So this is the first screen which whatever you are passing in this home, this is the first screen which will be displaying when the app is running. Now let's see how what are the components which are displaying here. The first thing which is displaying is this app bar. So what an app bar is, in your Flutter app, whenever you are you must have seen that many different apps generally have their app name written on it. So this is basically an app bar which they use for showing their name or showing their brand name on the top. So you can pass a basic app bar here. App bar generally has various different things which you can pass in it. So when you are hovering over it in VS Code, so it displays all the things which you can pass inside an app bar. So you can pass a widget in it, you can pass a title to it, you can pass flexible space so that it can adapt to the space which is available to it. You can pass the bottom side so that the bottom can extend, or you can pass elevation so that it appears a bit elevated. uh, Here we have passed the title to it. So basically it is the title, and this title is coming from this material app or this my app function. So you can see here we are passing the title in it. So if I'll be changing the title to first Flutter Live, and then I'll be clicking on save button. So generally in VS Code, when we are clicking on the save button, it directly performs a hot reload. But if for some case, if it is not working for you, you can use this bar here, which appears for you when you are running the Flutter app thing. So when you are clicking on this hot reload, it will be reloading your app again. When we will be clicking on this restart, it will be restarting the app for you. When you will be clicking on this red square, it will be stopping your app from running, and the emulator will be displayed as idle. Now talking about what the body part of this screen is coming is having. So the body part is firstly having a centered widget, which is here for displaying the elements which are present inside the children widget for this column, which is present in the widget tree. So this column is having a text widget which says you have to push this button this many times, or you have pushed this button X times. Next, we are having a counter variable which is being displayed inside this text. At last, we are having this floating action button here, which is basically pressing or which is triggering a function named as increment counter function. So when you click on control button and your left mouse key, it takes you to the function where whenever or wherever it is located inside your Flutter app. So this is the function which is running and increasing the counter by 1. So this generally triggers this function when it is clicked on it. When you are pressing on it for a long time, this is the tool tip which will be appearing. So you can see that here it shows increment. So this is basically for what we can say, telling the user that this function, this floating action button is for incrementing the counter by 1 or 2, whatever it is. And next we have passed the child to it. So this plus icon is basically the child which is passed to it for showing that it will be increasing the count by 1. So when I'm clicking on this icon, it will be increasing the count by 1, and you can see that here in this widget also the count is increasing by 1. So this is basically example of this is the basic app which appears whenever you are creating the first app. So we'll try to create this app from scratch as well. But before moving forward, if you guys have any doubt till now, you can comment them below so that I can like answer those questions which you have. Yes, people, my homepage state is a specific type of class. So there are basically two different state, or I can say the three different state, but there are two of them which we generally use. The first one is the stateful, and the second one is the stateless. So I have explained the difference between both of them. So my homepage state is a basic type of class, which is stateful for this case. So yeah, it can be called as a specific type of class. Yes, this video will be available later on once the session ends. Yeah, I can share the link for the PPT as well after the session end. So you guys can check Discord after the session end. So I can show you. One more thing, if you guys are having any issue with the environment setup or for setting up the emulator or creating a first app in VS Code or Android Studio, so you guys can ask your doubts in Discord or Telegram. So I'll be there available from 8 to 9 in Discord, so that you guys can ask your doubt. And one more thing, which is the terminal basic or the terminal basic commands which we generally use. You can create your Flutter app from the command Flutter Create, or clicking on Control P and choosing your option to create your app. But what if, or there are also chances where these all commands won't be running. These all commands generally break due to some extension issue or some version issue, so this generally happens. So we'll be seeing in the further part of session, we'll be seeing that how you can create a Flutter app through commands, and what all things you can do through by running some Flutter commands. So just wait for a few more seconds, and then we can start with that. So I guess we have some more questions. Yeah, so Vishal asked that can I explain the three trees or the widgets which I recently did. So yeah, Vishal, I can do it. So what generally there is that the first one is the widget tree. So what widget tree is that whenever we are running our Flutter code, it generally takes all the widgets which we have coded and creates a widget tree out of them. So most of the people consider that all the widgets which are being displayed to us, they are displayed to us from the widget tree, but that is not true. So these are being displayed us from the render object tree. Once the widget tree is created, it creates an element tree out of it. So widget tree generally has all the elements which are we have coded, and the element tree has all the elements from that widget. So for example, you can take there is a center, in that we have a text, and in that we have passed some text. So what elementary will be having? Elementary will be having the center and the text, so it won't be containing the string which you have passed inside the text. And the render object will be creating its widgets from the elementary. But for example, once you have changed the string inside the text, for example, the first time you are having hello world, and the next time you have changed it to hello Shanghai. So the elements are remaining the same. So the element tree will be staying static, but the widget tree and the render object tree will be changing. And as we know that all the widgets are being displayed from the render object tree, so it will be then updating the render object tree, and all the widgets will thus be updated, and the user can then see the updated code in his app. One more question from Vipul is that there are two titles. What are difference between them? Yeah, so the first title here, which is being passed from the my app class to the my homepage stateful widget, is this is basically a variable. So this will be available, or this will be shown to the user inside the app or below the app name. So when you have app icons inside your, what we can say, launcher, so the name which appears there below the app icon, so uh, this is the title which will be appearing there. My bad. So this is the title which will be appearing below the app icon, and this is the title which will be appearing on the app bar or in the app bar. So this is the variable which we are passing from here, and it is being passed in this my homepage. So you can see here we have declared a string title, and the my homepage is catching this title and then assigning it to this title, and then we are using it from widget.title. So this widget.title generally is used for accessing the title from this. In my homepage also we are having two different classes. The first one is this, which is the stateful widget class, and then it is extending the state of this app. So it is generally used for changing the state of the app. So yeah, this is the basic difference between the two titles which we are having. I guess people it is clear. You can use anything like VS Code or Android Studio for writing your or making your apps. Cool. I guess we can move forward with the term. So let me open my CMD panel here. Making. So the first one which we generally use for creating the app is that Flutter Create and then app name. So the app name has to follow all the basic things which I explained you in the previous part of the video, and rest all things are generally the same. So when you are running Flutter Create, it will be creating an application for you. I guess there is a bit of a delay. Just a sec, I'll try to share my command prompt and then I can show you what's going in my command prompt. I guess now my command prompt is visible to you guys also. So let me change the directory to D directory. So I'll do cd dot dot. Yeah, so the first command which is generally there is Flutter Create. So when you are running this Flutter Create command, it will be creating an app for you. The name of the app you can provide, or you can use all the things which I mentioned in the previous part of the video. So I'll be naming Flutter underscore 101, and it will be taking some time to run the code. There are sometimes cases when the this command is not running. So this generally happens when you have misconfigured your Flutter, and this also happens because if you are trying accessing the command prompt for a particular user, so it generally gives you an what we can say sudo command or something similar issue which takes place here. So you can basically google that out on, or you can allow the settings and then you can try to run the command again. So this basically happens. It happened with me also sometimes, but yeah, now as I have already configured all the things, so it works fine for me. Let me zoom it a bit out. Yeah, I guess now it will be clear to you guys as well. The next command which we generally have is the flutter doctor command. So the use of this command is to see if everything is configured correctly or not inside our Flutter app. So when we run the flutter doctor command, so it displays all the things which are running correctly or not inside our Flutter app. You can see here it has shown already shown as the output here, but for running the command we can just type flutter doctor and it will be running the command and showing us all the things. One more thing which you can add to this command is that you can mention -v in it. So you can see here it says to see all the details you can mention flutter doctor -v, so it will be showing us all the details in like including the time which is taking and what all things are being currently seen. So I'll also show you this command in a minute or two. Let's wait for this command to run. I guess it is taking more than the required time, so let me close or cancel this command. Yeah, now it has completed this command. So this you can basically see that it shows me my Flutter is correctly installed and configured, and the channel for the Flutter is set to stable. So there are basically 4 or 3 channel. I am not sure about the number, but there are different versions of Flutter which are available. So you can choose your channel accordingly. So what makes these channel different is that the first channel which is there receive regular updates. Like there are updates which are made on a quite frequent interval, so these can be in days or in weeks, like this. The second channel is that there are in that the changes are made like less frequently, and the third one is the stable one. So in this the changes are made after a long time, or these are the stables one which generally don't change a bit in the time period of months. So I have my channel set to stable, so this is the one which don't change a bit after or it change after years. So you can consider that as well. Next, it shows me that I have Android toolchain available for Android SDK version set to 30.0.2. So after that, it shows me that I haven't installed the Android Studio. So this is basically an issue which some of you might have faced after installing the Flutter and Dart plugin. Also, it sometimes show you that your Android Studio is not correctly configured and it does not have the Flutter plugin and the Dart plugin installed to it. Next one is the VS Code. So you can see that it shows me my VS Code is working properly and the version of the VS Code is also shown. Next here it shows me a connected devices. So as of now, I don't have any connected devices or any of the emulator running. So it shows me like this. Now let's run the command flutter doctor -v and let's see what all things it shows extra apart from the things which were mentioned when we run the flutter doctor command. So let's wait for a while for this command to run successfully. For instance, if your command takes more than the required time, so you don't need to worry for that. There are chances that it generally takes some more time for running. So you can just wait patiently. But if it taking is taking a longer time, so you can just cancel that command and you can try running it again. I guess it is taking a bit longer than the expected time. Let me cancel it and run it again. Now it has started showing me. So you can see here also that when I have added -v to it, it is showing me much more extra things like the version of the Flutter is being shown here, the framework is being shown here, the engine version, Dart version, and other things like that are also being shown here. So let's wait for the command to complete. So you can see that it has shown me the Android toolchain things also. Apart from that, this it has shown me that Android Studio location is set to this particular location and Java OpenJDK runtime environment is also pre-installed with this particular version. For VS Code also, it has shown me that the Flutter extension is set to 3.19.2 and the VS Code is stored or we can say installed at this particular location. So this is basically how you can run this command and see what all things are there. The next thing which or the next command which we generally have is the flutter run command. So what is the use of this command is whenever you are having a flutter application and you don't have that run command enabled inside your main.dart file, so you can run this command directly and it will be running your flutter app. For now I am not running this command as I am not inside the directory of that particular project and I don't have a code editor open as well for that particular project which we created above. So when you are inside the project directory of that particular project, so you can try running the flutter run command and it will be running your app directly inside the terminal, and it will also be providing you some options for hot reload, hot restart, quitting the project, or rebuilding the widget tree. So these all options will be provided. So these options are basically written in the form of some key characters. So small r generally represents, I'm not sure about this, but it generally represents a hot reload or hot restart. And similarly, we are having a capital R also. Also, we are having a queue to quit the application or quitting the running of the project. So this is basically the command which is the command which we have when we are running the app from terminal. Now, I guess if anyone has any doubts till now, then you guys can ask in the comments and I'll be happy to help you guys with your doubts. One more thing which I would like to tell you guys is that for the app which we created in the first part of the session, which by using the Flutter Create command, so we have a video already in making for that, where I have explained you all like how you can create the app from scratch, like all the things, all the code is done by ourselves, so we haven't used the Flutter Create command there. So we'll try to post that video by 12 to 1 p.m. tomorrow, which will be having all the things. So if you guys want to know like how the Flutter Create things create all the thing, all the app, and what all code is used in it, so you guys can check that video. So we'll be posting the links, or we'll be updating you with the link of the video in all the channels where you are connected, and it will be available on our YouTube page also. Or yeah, so if you guys have any more questions, like we have around 12 minutes remaining. So if you guys have any questions, so you guys can ask, and then if there are no more questions, then we can just end this live. And so what are the tools that you guys need to install? So the first thing which you need to download is the Flutter SDK. So it is directly available on the like you will be googling install Flutter, and it will be showing you the SDK according to your OS which you have installed. Next, you have to watch one of the 3 videos according to your OS which we have posted in the Discord announcement channel. So watching those videos, you can get the basic idea about how you can install Flutter, and you can set your SDK path for it. After this, when you have completely installed Flutter and tried running the Flutter doctor command, it will be showing you all the issues which you have. Once you have majorly the 2 or 3 issues which are there, is that either it will be having a license issue with the Android toolchain. The second one can be the VS Code or Android Studio is not installed. So these are the basic 2 issues which you generally face. So you can either install VS Code, but you generally need Android Studio for the what we can say emulator. I would suggest that you can install Android Studio, and you can add your emulator there, and then you can use VS Code for saving some RAM when you are running or when you are using your Flutter app. So these are the basic resources or the tools which you need to install for this bootcamp. Is the topic for today's over? So yeah, basically the topics are for today are covered. So if you guys have any doubt, then you can ask them in the comment section below. So we use stateful whenever we require the user to change something in the app, and stateless when we are just using constant display. Yeah, so this is correct. When we are we already want to display, then we can use stateless, and when we want to update some things, then we can use the stateful widget. Sir, no connected device. So this generally happens when you don't have any device connected or any of the emulator running. If you have already enabled the USB debugging inside your mobile application, and you are running it by connecting it to your device, so most of the time it shows you the device if you have the USB debugging enabled. But sometimes the thing happen is there are different mechanism for different phones. So for me, whenever I try to use the USB debugging feature, it always provides me with some key or some pop-up is there which I need to accept before running my Android application in my mobile phone. So you can see according to your smartphone, like what all things it asks, and like why it is not showing your device in even after enabling the USB debugging option, I would suggest you guys to always go for the emulator rather than using your Android devices. But if you have some memory issues like I had in my initial days, so you can like go with your Android devices, or like connecting it through USB cable and then running your apps in that. Yeah, so some of you guys are also asking that how to mark attendance. So for marking your attendance for every session, we'll be attaching a form in the description. So this form will be attached after an hour, or like after the session is over. So what you guys can do is you can go click on that form, and then you can enter your email ID, name, or whatever details are there in the form. So at last we'll be seeing like who are the regular attendees and who have contributed like well towards the boot camp, and on the basis of that we'll be seeing who are the top performers, and then we'll be providing them some internship opportunities. Yeah, so if you have already enabled USB debugging, so I guess it should show you a pop-up whenever you are trying to run it. So if there are any more issues, so I'll be available in Discord from 8 to 8:30 or 9, whatever suits me. So you can then connect on the channel whichever I have joined, and then I guess we can discuss if there is any specific issue which you are facing. Yeah, so the Android State SDK is also needed for the devices. We have 6 more minutes, so if you guys have any doubts, then you guys can ask. I'll be happy to answer the questions you guys have. Yeah, so for the attendance, like for selecting the top performers or the people who are like dedicated towards the bootcamp, what we'll be doing is we'll be adding a Google form link after the session ends. Like the link will be added after an hour or so in the description of the particular live for that session. So what you guys have to do is you have to just go on the form and then fill all the details. At last, when all the session ends, or like when the boot camp ends, we'll be seeing who all have like attended all the sessions and who are dedicated towards the boot camp. And then after selecting those and seeing their submissions, we'll be seeing who the top performers are, and on the basis of our list we'll be providing you guys with some internship opportunities as well. Yeah, the attendance sheet will be added after an hour or so. So by 9, you guys can come back to the video and check the description. So you will be finding the attendance sheet there. For now, there is no project which you guys have to make. What you can do for today is you can like complete your installation process, and you guys can see how you can use all these commands, and if these are commands are working for you or not. Once you have completed or like made the first app by yourself by running the commands, then you can send your screenshots on the Discord server to showcase them among your folks, like you have completed this particular thing. I'll see if I can find the installation link and I'll drop them down in the description. So you guys can directly click on these links after the session ends, and you can view how the installation works. No, the deadline for filling all the forms for attendance will be the last date for the boot camp. So I guess it is 9th March. So the all the forms will be closing around 9th March. Yeah, so the form links will be closing around 9th March, as I mentioned. And I guess if there are no more doubts, then we can end this session and I'll be available on Discord. Also, one more thing, like if you guys haven't shared this bootcamp along with your folks on your socials, then you can share so that more and more people can connect and they can also get this opportunity to learn. So I'll see you guys in Discords. Until then, uh, enjoy your day and make sure to learn something new each day, and happy learning.